Hey, hello, and how are you, friends? If you are new here, my name is Serena. If you like knitting, sewing, any Crafty Avenue books, you're in the right spot. With this week in What's Up Stitches, I have a lot to share with you. I have one finished project, one abandoned project, one maybe abandoned, just frustration project, and two new cast-ons. But I have a lot to talk about today. So let's first things up is my finished Nutcracker sweater, following the pattern by Fabel knitwear. You saw me mention this sweater before, right after Christmas. It was my ballet sugar plum sweater, and my fourth ever completed sweater since I started my knitting journey 10 months ago. And while there are a couple of mistakes in it, I am thrilled and I am very proud because, I don't know, I thought it was a pretty complex pattern for a newbie knitter to tackle, and it's wearable, it's not falling off, and I can actually pull it over my head. Let's talk about the pattern and the yarn that I use. The pattern, again, is the Nutcracker jumper by Fabel knitwear. I liked this pattern a lot. I have a lot of Fabel knitwear's patterns in my favorites list and also on my queue. I just love her whole vibe. I love the modern sweaters, but I tend to lean towards historically inspired. Anyways, the pattern for the most part was pretty intense, but very well written and kind of guide you step by step. There are a lot of bobbles, a lot of bobbles that became kind of tedious, but I like the effect. In the middle between the bobbles are panels of like a moss stitch or a seed stitch, and it also has like kind of like a puff sleeve, but like a slightly puff sleeve. Now let's talk about the yarn. The yarn that I used was the DK Weight Gloss from Knit Picks. It is a 75% merino wool and 30% silk. It is very soft and squishy and warm. I like it a lot, but since it is merino wool, it is non-superwash merino wool, it is pilling, which it seems like, I guess merino wool is just, that's the, you know, the drawback from using merino wool. Yeah, merino wool is really soft and squishy, but it also pills, unless it's just the yarn that I'm using. If you know of a non-superwash merino wool that doesn't pill within wearing, let me know, because right now merino wool is my favorite because it's not itchy to me, at least. But I have two more skeins left. I think I ordered a total of 9 skeins for this project, and I ended up using 7, so maybe this will be a scarf for next year. I'm not exactly sure. The last time I spoke to you guys about this sweater, I had accidentally cut into the neckline because I was trying to get it over my head. The mock turtleneck, it just wouldn't go over my head, and I kind of snipped it to get it on, and that was dumb. And so I ended up ripping all the way back to like right here to fix that mistake. I also took advice of one of you guys and did Jenny's stretchy bind off and sewed it in the inside. I don't know, it is magical. It does fit over my head without any force. I like it a lot. I did want to mention that this pattern does not have any short row shaping in the back, and I was getting this weird pulling of the mock turtleneck. So I decided, since I was already ripping back, that I was just gonna try to add some German short rows, which was kind of interesting since I'm a newbie knitter trying to do that, but I think I got it in okay. It's not pulling. If I were to go back to do this pattern again, I would probably definitely add maybe 3 more rows before I start the mock turtleneck, because I feel like it is, I don't know, maybe that's just the style. I feel like this neckline right here should be closer to my neck, but then again, it pulls the mock turtleneck away from my face and then my makeup, and I don't get that itch factor around my neck. So all in all, I am very proud of my new sweater. I have been wearing it a ton and also been getting lots of compliments on the streets, and I am pretty proud to say thanks. I made it. Like I said, I have a couple of mistakes, like this raglan right here. I guess I messed up that raglan, but although I do care, I don't care enough to rip it all back again and fix it. I'm just gonna accept the flaw and love it. Putting that aside, abandoned project is up next, and it was a Christmas sock pattern. I have mentioned this before on my channel. I was following the Teenage Kicks the Teenage Kicks socks by Knit Picks for my first ever pair of socks. Let's just say that it just, like, look, I got pretty far and I was doing 2 at a time. There were so many problems. The band is not tight enough around my feet. I was able to turn and do the heel and all of that jazz, but on one sock I was able to get the stitch count to start that tube again, and the other I didn't get the stitch count, and I don't know what happened, and I am at this point just kind of fed up with this project. I was using size 0 needles, so a couple of you guys have mentioned in the comments that are experienced sock knitters is that I needed to size down the pattern. I think I was knitting the size medium because I do have a wide foot. So now I know. I don't know. Honestly, my friends, I am just super frustrated about the sock section, which kind of stinks because I know a lot of people enjoy knitting socks, and I think I would enjoy knitting socks if it went better for me. So I don't know if I'm going to go back to the pattern. If you have a really good, I guess they call it vanilla sock pattern that is beginner friendly, just let me know down below, because this one just wasn't doing it. Because I really want to be a sock knitter, this just was too frustrating for me. So I'm just going to abandon this project. Maybe I'll pick it back up. What is vibing with me though are sweaters. I don't know why, I just like to knit sweaters. I found this really cool yarn. Let me tell you about this yarn. So I am a huge reader, and y'all know that I love the Outlander series. Love it. I read all the books, obsessed with it. Started sewing a wardrobe, started a whole like business based on the love of my books. I since finished reading the 9th book of the Outlander series. I was kind of like, oh, what am I gonna read next? And I ended up picking up a book series by the author Sarah J. Maas, all because of TikTok, and I have fallen in love with all of the worlds that Sarah J. Maas has created. If you love Jamie and Claire's like love story, I feel like you would like Sarah J. Maas's love stories in there. Just as intense as Jamie and Claire's love story from Outlander, but you put in like magic and like, yeah, Outlander has magic, but like there's a lot of magic in the Sarah J. Maas series. My favorite of the 3 series that she has written is the Court of Thorns of Roses. And if you haven't picked up that book, I highly suggest. So anyways, I'm going off on a tangent. One of the things that is in her universe is a festival or a holiday called Starfall. And if you are a fan of this universe, then you know what I'm talking about. And I found a yarn company called Weird Sisters Wool Emporium that are a indie dyer that has a series of ACOTAR, and I just love their Starfall. So I thought, I want this. So I gave a link to my husband for Christmas and say, hey, I don't want much for Christmas, but I do want this yarn and I want a sweater's quantity enough of it. So he did. He pulled through and he got me this. It's a variegated blue and green and dark like navy on their Poe base, which is a DK weight, and it's a 70% superwash merino and 30% silk, and I like this a lot, my friends. The pattern that I decided to pair with this yarn is called Anne's Puff Sleeves by Amy Shear, and I picked this because it looked pretty easy to me. It kind of ticked all the boxes that I wanted for this yarn. I wanted something that was comfortable, that kind of had that romantic feeling, but didn't really like go full on Victorian on you. And this kind of just all ticked the box. And so far, so good, but I kind of got a hiccup. It is, I can't tell you though, it is a top-down construction with eyelet details on the raglan increases. Again, a mock turtleneck that you go in and you put it in after you completed the majority of the knitwork with, I believe the sleeves are 3/4 length sleeves if you want, and I think it's an I-cord band. And the bottom is ribbed, so the bottom and the neckline is ribbed, but it also has these puff sleeves, and that is where I am at on this pattern. And I am totally confused about the puff sleeves. It has you based and like actually sew the a box pleat instead of doing like a gradual increase like this one, like the sweater that I'm wearing on. And I'm just kind of confused, and I'm trying to figure out the stitch count. So I've kind of just had this on the back burner for the last couple of days until my tiny brain kind of wraps around all the numbers. I might actually email this pattern maker because I'm kind of on the cusp of saying screw it and rip it all back and try a different pattern with this. Only because the eyelet details, I kind of knew this going in, but the eyelet details do get lost in this variegated yarn. It's not a big deal for me because I really wanted this pattern more for the huge puff sleeves instead of the eyelet patterns, but I don't know. It's been sitting for a while. I mean, I got pretty far, my friends. I'm here ready to start the body, and I'm just so excited. This just, every time I wear this, I'm just going to think about ACOTAR and Starfall and Reese and Farah and just live my best book nerd life. Okay, so that is that project. Now I have these two cast-on projects that I was like, oh, what am I going to do? So I got for Christmas 2 yarns that I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with. And one was a Cascade Yarns lace alpaca, and it's very, very soft. And I only got 1 skein of this, as well as I got a skein of Yarn Bee's hand-dyed tonal fingering merino wool, and this is a sock weight. So I was gonna make socks out of this because obviously, but you guys already know my sock story. So I thought, well, what could I make with just 1 skein of fingering? I was like, well, I could probably make a shawl. And then I was looking at this, I'm like, well, what can I make with this? Because it's lace. I'm like, well, it seems like a lot of people are pairing 2 different yarns together. I was like, well, maybe I'll try to do that. So I paired these 2 with a shawl pattern called Equanimity. I hope Equanimity, yeah, I don't know. It's an asymmetrical triangular shawl with one side with this cute little lace detailing. I'm in love with this cute little detailing. I'm in love with like the squishiness of it. It's so soft. The alpaca paired with the merino wool is just so, it's like butter, it's buttery smooth, and I wasn't really sure if a light yarn and a dark yarn would go well, but it's given me this really cool heathered marled look that I love it. I just love it. The only thing that I'm not in love with is the time it takes me. Because it's such a small gauge, it is a very slow knit, but it's kind of like a mindless knit. It's knit from one corner up with an 8-row repeat. That's what y'all call it. An 8-row repeat with a stitch marker that shows you how your lace is going to. So it's kind of mindless, kind of semi-mindless because I do have to keep track of what I'm doing on each row, but I'm loving it. And I think I have about 10 more repeats to go until it is finished. And I can't wait because it's cold here and I want like a cute little shawl scarf. So that is my Equanimity shawl, again by, oh I forgot to say, by Karen Michelle from I Knit 2 Purl 2. It is the Equanimity shawl that hopefully by the next time I do another What's Up Stitches, this will be finished. Okay, so I kind of took the news of, I guess I didn't take it bad, but I was just kind of in a mourning period with the Outlander announcement that just happened last week. Yay, Outlander has renewed for the 8th season, but unfortunately it is the final season, which I kind of felt like it was coming. A lot of my thoughts kind of, it's just kind of bittersweet about the end of Outlander, but every good thing must come to an end. So with that said, I feel like I need to finish my Outlander knitting. And so I started a project, and the reason why I started this project because I just kind of wanted something Outlander to knit that wasn't going to take too much brain power, but that was going to, I don't know, come together. I've been working on my Brianna reunion outfit. I have the skirt, I have the fabric to do the jacket, and I've had the yarn in my stash for a while to do the capelet, and that is exactly what I started. I just started this 2 nights ago, and this is how far I've gotten. I feel like I've gotten a lot of progress. It's a very, very easy knit. Let's talk about the pattern first, and then I'll talk to you about the yarn. The pattern I got from Ravelry. It's called Brianna's Capelet. It is by Sandy Russo from Knitsy Blonde. She is in one, I think actually a couple of my Outlander replica sewing Facebook groups. She also mentions what yarn to use and how much to use it. And I like how her capelet turned out because it looks very much like, not screen accurate, but as screen accurate as possible. So I wanted to get this pattern to match with the yarn that she got. Now the yarn that I am using is Lions brand yarn Scarfy. Yeah. Scarfy. It is a bulky weight self-striping yarn. It is 78% acrylic and 22% wool, and it is in the taupe colorway. The way that you knit this is you knit 2 strands together, so you get like a super bulky weight garment. And look at that self-striping. The downside of using this yarn is that this colorway, the taupe colorway, is discontinued. So I was able to track down 2 skeins on eBay. So you can still find this out in the wild, but you're not gonna find it in your everyday craft store. You will be able to find the Scarfy yarn by Lions brand, but you just won't be able to find taupe. So yeah, I'm really excited. I have yet to pick out the buttons for it, but I feel like I am going to finish this very quickly just because it's easy and it is fast. And it has taken my mind a lot off of like my troublesome projects. So my friends, that was a lot of things that I casted on this month. What did you cast on? What are you working on? I feel like my Ravelry queue and my Ravelry favorites is just getting longer and longer and longer. Anywho, thank you guys all for watching. If you have not already subscribed and you like this type of content, please do. I hope you guys all have a grand day and happy knitting, my friends.